Okay, so today we're going to replace the starter on the CRX. Well, the first thing we need to do is just clear this area because it's right here. If you look in the front of the engine, it's right there. On your left hand side for this car, I guess. We're going to take the battery, we're going to take the air out. And then I believe there's only 2 bolts that are holding on to that, and there's 2 connectors. One is for the wire, and then one for the starter, the solenoid. Anyway, I'm gonna pause the video and let me take all this apart, and then I'll come back. Okay, so we took it apart. Now it's all nice and clear. And like I said, this is the electrical wire, and that's the starter where it goes to the solenoid. That's where it feeds the wire right there. I mean the electricity. And then you would just take that bolt out right there. That's what holding on to this stuff right here. And then there's 2 bolts over here, and there's another bolt over there, and that's it on those. Anyway, I'm gonna pause the video again. Okay, so here's what the starter hole look like. All you see is those 2 holes right there. One up here and one over here. And it sits into that flywheel. You see that little gear on the flywheel? That's all it is. So when you look from up here, that's the top view right there. I know it's kind of pain in the butt to have all these things stuck all over the place, but when you come to here and you just look onto that and you just slide that into there just like that. So now we're going to take the 2 bolts and we're going to slide that in there. So go ahead, slide it in there. Right there. Just tight fit, like just fit, and then moving around a little bit to make sure the bolt is going okay, you know. Hold on to the bracket right here and move up and down, whatever. Now goes the other bolt. A lot easier when you take things apart and then expose that big area, because they stick them into this small little thing. I mean, when we tested it, it's kind of like if you take like the old trick, you take a block, a piece of wood, and you hit it, it'll try to start your engine a few times. And if you get stuck on the road or whatever, try to hit here. Sometimes this thing gets stuck right here, but don't hit this part right here, because sometimes they're made out of plastic or porcelain. You would hit right out here, just tap right here. And then sometimes you tap right at that right there, at this section, because that's where the motor is. Not the motor, but sometimes it gets stuck right there because it's so corroded. And then at the end of the motor, you would see these brushes. Sometimes the brushes get stuck too, and that won't start either because from the rust. So by tapping on the starter or the solenoid works as well. You can try that to get by. But that's the best thing that I can tell you. So literally, take something hard like a hard monkey wrench, like the tall monkey wrench, and take another monkey wrench and hit it. Tap right here. Sometimes, because this is in electricity, you don't want to either, and then you tap onto there. And another thing you can do is you take this out right here, and you can actually bypass it by touching this and this together. You can do that too. You can start the mower that way too. This is like direct starting. You put the key onto run, so it won't be negative no more, and then you would tap, you would touch here and here together. That's direct connection, and that's like a really hard sometimes you see with sparks on them, but that's how you turn this thing on, this thing directly. You can do that too. That's like emergency. You can bypass it and kick it in, and you expose this section right here out, and you would touch the positive together and it'll work as well. As long as you don't touch any other negative part of a car, you're gonna get a shock. Not a shock, but like a zap. But if you do, that's an emergency part. But if this is no longer working, you can try that, because all this is just a connection from here. So just leave the car on run or on. This won't turn because it has to be cranked in order for that to turn, so you don't have to worry about that wire. Just take that wire out and then just connect this directly, and it will spin the motor itself. But that's how you bypass it. It's the easiest way you can bypass it. Anyway, we're gonna put all this back together and then start. Okay, so now we had it done. This piece here, there's a cover on here and it broke, so I just cut a piece of tube and then fit over this thing here and slice the tube in half, and now I made a little cover, like, look, see? So that's what it looks like. But everything's all back to where it is, and hopefully it's all back to normal now. But anyway, other than that, that's about it. Now we're just gonna put the filter back and put our battery back, and that's it. Okay, so now we're gonna start the car. It's all done, it's all put back together. You can start it. Okay, so it ran. Now everything's all set, you know it started, it's working okay, and we're all set.